Welcome to Pillow Talk with Talama and Kamogelo, a segment where we address communication, intimacy, and unity in marriage. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button if you're joining us for the first time. And to our regulars, we love and appreciate you. Welcome back, family, for another segment, for another episode of Pillow Talk. So today, we are still on the topic of transparency in marriage. As you would recall that we touched on being naked and unashamed. Last week, we unpacked marriage and money. And so this week, we are focusing on emotional transparency.
Yep, a topical issue indeed. And yeah, before we get into it, I'd encourage you, if you have missed the previous two episodes, please refer to our library and you really will not regret it. So yeah, let's get straight into it. You've introduced the topic. What actually is emotional transparency? So there's an article that we were reading on healthy marriages, and I like how they put it, or we liked how they really unpacked this concept of emotional transparency. And I will quote directly verbatim what they said. Being emotionally transparent is a way of being truly honest about you. It just means sharing what comes up in you that prevents closeness in the relationship. It could be fear, anger, sadness, resentment. In fact, at the deepest level, true honesty is rarely about anything else. Unquote. That's a powerful statement. And really, that's what we want to talk about today, emotional transparency. And this seems, at first glance or at face value, it seems like a simple concept to grasp, but it really takes an intentional commitment to achieve a level of emotional transparency. And it's actually, we were just chatting about it the other day, and it's actually alarming to see how many married couples endure lifelong marriage sentences simply because they fail to be emotionally transparent. And I intentionally used the word lifelong marriage sentences because your marriage literally becomes like a prison. A self-imposed prison due to a lack of emotional transparency. And one of the biggest causes of this is anger and leaving issues unattended.
Oh, yeah.
And this is something that we made a personal decision in the formative years of our marriage, that, you know what, we are not going to go to bed with matters that are unresolved, because you end up just building mountains and mountains of anger. And it's even scriptural. If you read in the book of Ephesians 6, Paul encourages the church of the Ephesians church that you should not, or you should be angry, but do not allow the sun to go down on your anger, nor should you give any place to the devil. And that's the thing. Anger is good. As an emotion, it is not good as a condition.
Yes.
Some people have allowed themselves to be in this permanent state of anger, which really just derails your marriage. And this could be a learned behavior. And ultimately, as human beings, we mirror what we have been exposed to.
That is so true. Sometimes our upbringing can affect how we communicate with our spouse. For instance, where I come from, we were never given a platform to express our feelings. And this is something that I subconsciously carried into our marriage. So let's quickly zone in some of the things that may lead to an emotional disconnection. Like having a dominant partner. Having a dominant partner can make it extremely difficult for you to open up to, because they claim to know you more than you know yourself. And they tend to disregard your feelings. So whatever that you say, they basically make it a joke, be sarcastic about it. And that will drive your spouse away if you are that kind of partner. And another thing that we should make note of is every feeling is important. We shouldn't disregard each other's feelings. So you might not take it seriously. You might think, well, it's nothing. It's not a big deal. Why are we still talking about this? Why are we still arguing about this? But the fact of the matter is, every feeling is important. So we need to acknowledge each other and support each other, even when you don't understand what the big deal is. But you being present and you being there for that person, it makes them feel, that they are supported, that they are loved, that you take them seriously.
those are very valid points that you've just touched on. And just to add, the other piece that we need to be mindful of is whether you are partnering with your spouse or parenting your spouse, because you also don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're having a parent-child relationship with your spouse, where instead of talking to your spouse, you find yourself talking down on your spouse. And that also can be a serious cause of emotional detachment or disconnection, where the spouse just feels as though they are being parented and they are not necessarily being seen or taken as a partner in the relationship. So yeah, I mean, and again, guys, these are just our views, and it's really not an exhaustive list that we can pinpoint of issues that cause emotional disconnection, but these are just obviously some that stood out or that stand out for us. So yeah, that's us for today. And once again, guys, thank you for tuning in, and please, like we always encourage you to share your comments, give us feedback. If there's any views that you've got on the matter, would love to hear from you. And yeah, as my wife said earlier on, if you have not clicked that subscribe and notification button, you know what to do. And we'll catch up again next week. We've got another exciting and topical issue that we will be tackling. And thanks for your support. Thanks for tuning in, and good night.
Good night.